I'm Rachel and this is Missy and we're from Miss Daisy Sewing, and today we're going to talk about the Walkaway dress. And yes, I see you, I've got nothing. The Walkaway dress. Butterick B7490, I think. Well, hold on, let me just show you. This is the Walkaway dress. My first attempt at one anyway. In the early 2020s, there was the Walkaway challenge and I did this in about 7 hours, which I was really pleased with. And overall, it's a really nice dress. I was really happy with it, but I've never worn this outside the house. Main reason why, if you don't mind, is this is the actual construction. The front of the dress is literally like an apron. So the front of the dress is just a front panel. It goes up, joins the back, and comes down again. And I live in Scotland, and I was absolutely terrified we'd get a high enough wind and people would see things they're not meant to be seeing. So I didn't feel comfortable wearing it. I felt really exposed with the back literally being held together with a button. And also this blue bias binding. It was totally the right choice at the time, but when I tried it on, I felt like I was an NHS nurse. I don't know why. Something about just this sort of pencil skirt front with the blue trim and the white. I just didn't like it, to be honest. Like, on the mannequin, I think it's beautiful. And I had really high hopes for this dress. And unfortunately, that just happens sometimes. So after a year, I revisited it. Was it a year? No. In 2024. Yeah, about a year or two later, I revisited it. And my next attempt looked something like this. I think it's night and day, the difference. This one, bring it back over, is a full skirt on the bottom. This is a full circle skirt, so there's so much more sway here. We've got full coverage at the back, so I didn't feel nearly as exposed. I also included pockets, because it has to have pockets. And I like the way I got the shoulders to sort of line up, so you can sort of see the blue coming into the tartan here. I made this for my brother-in-law's wedding, and it's been out quite a few times since then. I really liked how this came out. I think this was exactly what I wanted my previous one to look like. So, where are we going from here? I'm proposing that we redo the Walkaway dress. The plan is to remake the previous dress with the two different sun and moon sort of stars patterns with these, but more closely following the pattern I used on the second one. Now, the second dress is a mash of patterns. The apron part of the Walkaway I retained from the original pattern, and then the top and the skirt are two separate patterns again. This will be a nice opportunity for me to explain to you all how I go about mashing patterns. And do not fret, the original dress will not go to waste. I will repurpose that fabric somewhere else, but that will be a video for another day. But in the meantime, I'm going to do some ironing, I'm going to dig out some patterns, and I'm going to do as much prep work tonight that I can so that tomorrow I can just really hit the ground running and see if I can beat 7 hours for a dress. I would be quite impressed if I can. This is a more complicated construction, the second dress. So we'll see. Morning. It's 9 o'clock and I'm just back in from the dog walk. Missy's over there in her bed. So she's had a nice walk and she should hopefully just sleep until about lunchtime. And I might potter about the garden or something at that point, just take a break from things. I've done as much as I can realistically do without cheating, in my opinion. So yeah, let's get on with cutting this dress. So as I've already explained, this is a mashup. So the skirt is from the Simplicity 1459, which has featured a few times now on this channel. It's just a really nice, quite full skirt. The front is cut onto the fold, and then the back will be kept as two separate panels, partly for the zipper and also to support the pockets. For the bodice, I'm using the Simple Sew Grace Dressing Skirts pattern, and what I'm doing is just going straight across the back rather than putting the sort of shoulder straps, because the shoulder straps will need to be used by the apron part of the dress. The blue part is fairly simple, it's just doing that apron part of the dress, and you can very quickly see me sort of lining up the two different shoulders from the front of the dress and the apron part. The skirt for this part is just a circle skirt, so you can see that I've got a bit of string here, a little pencil on it, and I'm using the sort of string just to help keep everything a nice consistent radius, and then we just trim that out and we're good to go. Hey, well, we are 1 hour in exactly, and I have cut out all the pieces. Yay! So that's a really nice start, really pleased with that. I'm going to make a quick cup of tea, and then it's going to be on to assembling. This pattern is basically going to be exactly the same as the tartan dress this time around. Like I said, this is a speed run. I don't want to make things too complicated by trying something massively different. But yeah, so far so good. So quick cup of tea, maybe a biscuit, and then getting the sewing machine out. See you then. First thing I had to do was sew in the darts. They're more obvious here on the blue, and I do really recommend getting some proper chalk. At this point, it's now let the assembly begin. First of all, it's the blue, and then onto the white. It's obviously got more parts, and obviously the lining, which I want to be fully incorporated. I originally wanted to treat the blue and the white part as one bodice, but then I realised it would be impossible to get that neckline done, so I separated them again and just treated the white and the blue as separate parts. For the white part, I'm just sort of sewing along the edges and then sort of flipping it right side out. And then it's the exact same technique on the blue. I'm sort of clipping all the curves here just to help things sit nice and neat before flipping everything right sides round. And then it's pressing everything nice and flat. Hey ho, we are 2 hours and 10 minutes in, and I've got both the bodices done. There's the blue one, white one's on the ironing board. And the plan is going to be to do the skirts next. I'm going to finish the blue side and then do the white side because it's got more seams and pockets and things. I had sort of toyed with the idea of trying to do both the blue and the white together, which is why they were sewing at the shoulder seams for a little bit, but then decided that logistically actually, like trying to put a zipper in with that blue part weighing on it was going to be a nightmare, so split it back up again. All a learning curve, and yeah, I think we're doing really well. I think I'm going to beat 7 hours, but not sure by how much. Eh? I'm going to stop about lunchtime, about 12ish, so I'll give you an update then and let you know how we're doing. The blue skirt is very simple in its construction. I folded over the circle to make a half circle, and then sort of sewn along that cut edge before flipping it right sides out and then top stitching down to get a really nice sharp curve. After that, it's just sewing it to the main sort of bodice part of the apron and then leaving that gap either side for the closure. My camera battery died, so I've assembled some of the white. I've got the side seams done and I've popped in the pockets. So I'm now going to stop for some lunch. We're going to sit in the sun, are we? Eh? The assembly of the white skirt isn't too dissimilar to that of the blue one. I got the lining all stitched up and then sewed along the bottom edge before flipping it right sides out and then top stitching down again to get that really nice crisp edge. Here I'm attaching the waistband to the actual bodice because that's what we're going to attach the skirt to. Here you can see me gathering the skirt. I've run a long basting stitch along the top of the skirt in 3 sections, and then each section I'm gathering down to match the corresponding part of the waistband. And then it's time to attach the skirt to the bodice. Oh, the zipper. Before it all went wrong. I hate installing zips, it's why I tend to do them off camera. But here I was, really pleased with it, sort of showing off the inside and how once I tuck that waistband down, it's going to look absolutely beautiful on the inside. I'd remembered from the previous dress that the shoulders are really best organised on the mannequin. Just the way the apron drapes, it sort of pulls slightly strangely on them. So this is what I'm doing here, is just really taking my time getting the shoulders nicely and neatly joined before I stitch them together. I also like to take this time to sort of check the fit of everything on the dress and just make sure that everything is sitting how I want it to when it's finally done. And yes, the reason the zip ended up coming off was because I was testing that it actually worked. The internal panic at this moment is real. Hey y'all, we are 5.5 hours, wait, 10, 11, 12, 5.5 hours, it's just gone 3 o'clock, so we're 5.5 hours in, and she's pretty much kind of done. Yeah, really pleased with it, like, So what's left is all of the hand sewing, which is one of the most time consuming parts that you will never see. So that'll be making all of the lining on the inside nice and neat, and obviously the sort of apron, the underside there, sort of there-ish, that all needs hand stitched as well to get a nice neat finish. So we're gonna go on a nice dog walk and take a bit of a break, and then we'll come back and get this done. I've decided, I think I've got some poppers still, because rather than a button, breaking that up, I think it looks nice just having just the blue. So the plan is I'm going to see if I've still got any like little snaps, I think that's what they're called, to get that finished. But that, again, that's another hand sewing job. So technically we are done with the machine, and it's just going to be some hand stitching and then sort of getting all the loose threads, all that kind of jazz. So I think I'm going to be good in the under the 7-hour target, which is what I sort of set myself to sort of best my time from last time. But we're probably not going to be far off 7 hours because it's a lot of hand sewing. So, yep, dog walk. Then we're going to go back to getting this stitched. So, I'll see you then. So with that, I had a cup of tea made, put on some sewing vlogs, and just got my head down. Hey all, 7 hours. I am so pleased with that time. It matches my first attempt at the Walkaway dress, but seeing as this is a far more difficult construction, aka it's more than 3 pieces, that doesn't surprise me. I still think 7 hours for a fully complete dress is a phenomenal time, and I am really pleased with that. And that also does include the slight disaster with the zip. The zip was a bit serendipitous, I will say that, because I noticed on the mannequin that it was slightly too large in the back. So because I had to completely take the zip off to put the zip back on again, it was also an opportunity for me to just adjust the back so it fits better. So at some point the zip was actually going to have to come off again, so it technically saved future me a job. It was just frustrating in the moment. It looks great, it's got that really high contrast that I wanted, and it's got all the swirl, it's got pockets, it's just more secure in the back because it's a full dress. A rogue gust of Scottish wind isn't going to expose me. And yeah, I think the only thing left to do now is pop this on and twirl like an idiot, because what else should you do with a dress with this much skirt? So until then, I shall let yous go, and I'll see you next time. Bye.